Ninth day in the month of February 2023. I'm ready for Top of the Bridge Up and Go. Are you ready for me? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Up in the bridge.
Yeah.
On the bridge.
Yeah, man. Change your name a while ago still. This is Yaxter, by the way. He launches his album, his debut album on the 21st, I think it is, this year. And it's all happening during Reggae Month and Black History Month. A lot is expected from him. We're waiting for that one. It's called 22, as a matter of fact. Good morning to you. It's 11 now past the hour of 6 o'clock. My name is Richie B.
You're still the DJ.
Gonna take care of you till 10 o'clock. Keep it locked.
And it's now time for WTF, and that's what the fact. Here we're going on. So there's a very strange fruit in Aborigination. It's called the ortanique. Yeah, man, the ortanique fruit. And it was actually developed in Mandeville. Yeah, man, big up the whole of Mandeville. You know what thing go. Even some Jamaicans might be surprised to learn that the ortanique was developed right here in Mandeville, Manchester. Originally, it was actually known as the tangelo, which is a cross between an orange and a tangerine. And it was actually the creation of Dr. David Daniel Phillips, who was reportedly the grand uncle of noted parliamentarian Dr. Peter Phillips. For more than a century, the ortanique has been thriving in the cool hills of Manchester with a distinctly sweet flavor that may have something to do with the rich bauxite soil in that area. Okay, so that is a nice looking one there. The ortanique was actually developed in Mandeville.
A product of Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's a good look. Those are the kinds of interesting facts we share with you inside of
WTF. What the fact?
Yeah, get them out. Yeah.
Alright, yeah man, it's time for Update Bridge Nation. It's been a while since I've heard about Scatter. You know, Scatter coming forward in the media with something. But here we go on.
Since we get some new bands.
Yeah.
Get quiet.
Yeah, minding more business in our Benz. Why not? But here we'll go on. In forward out to make people know that he's saddened that Jamaican trap songs won't stand the test of time. Now, dancehall music producer Scatter Burrell has weighed in once more on the issue of artists and producers creating highly disposable music using trap beats that all sound alike and are forgotten within months instead of adding their own creative flair. Now, Scatter made his comment on a video he posted of Buddha, who is the beat maker of Busta Rhymes' "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See," explaining, among other things, how the beat was inspired by that of the song Sweet Green Fields by American soft rock duo Seals and Croft. He said, "To all singers and DJs, ever wondered why your hit songs only able to last a few months, unable to be remembered or played 5 to 10 years from now? Blame the producers who continue to recycle one sound over and over, trying to fit in and doing what everyone else does. If every beat you record on has the same groove, same hi-hat, same snare, same BPM that majority of other artists are voicing on, how do you expect to stand out and be superior? Remember this, 90% of the biggest songs begin with iconic beats. They go hand in hand." Scatter also ruled the fact that many of the songs being produced actually had good lyrics, but were being stifled by the monotonous beats. Big up the few who knows and understand this. I respect producers who actually put in creativeness into the music. These days it seems you can rub two sounds together and that's it. I love the songs coming out, but I'm saddened that they won't stand the test of time and will be just a memory within a matter of months," he explained. And he went on to also say, Richie, that if you're not really inspired or motivated, then it's not going to be lasting to him. Like, he's saying that these beats aren't motivating enough. You know, so hey,
That's
there's some truth in there.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a very, very popular sentiment.
Yeah.
And we wait to see what happens. And yes, the youngsters are making some money and eating some food, as we would say. But are these songs lasting? How long will they last? Is the real question.
Yeah.
And time will tell, I guess. We have a story that we want to just highlight, the continuing Island Music Conference, IMC. I actually had the pleasure of being in the audience last evening at the gardens at the Pegasus Hotel for the chairman's dinner. and it was simply off the chain. You had representatives from the world of business, from politics, music and entertainment, and generally just some fantastic music lovers. Many of the international guests that are panelists for a number of the sessions were actually there as well. And there were a few hundred people that were there dining and having a really, really good time. Promoters and musicians were all a part of the audience. And of note was Shaggy's speech, which I found to be quite inspiring, where Shaggy spoke about the importance of gaining knowledge and pointing out that he continues to learn on a daily basis, and we should all make an attempt to be learning something new. He pointed out that he was just learning about YouTube Shorts, which we're talking of the air shells. That is like the equivalent to
Instagram Reels or TikTok videos just for YouTube. Yeah.
Yes, and even how that can be monetized.
Oh yes.
Especially if you're a recording artist in the music industry. He spoke about the first time that he signed a million. You're listening?
Yeah, man.
That he signed £1 million deal, and some of the ramifications there. In fact, I didn't even know that he was hoping that he would have actually been signed to Island, which is headed by Chris Blackwell, because he just simply at the time wanted to be on the label that you just said Bob Marley.
Yeah.
But Chris declined based on other offers that he was looking at, and he went on to, of course, go through score big with Oh Carolina, and followed up with Mr. Bombastic, and so his story continued. He spoke about intellectual property, and that artists and so on should ensure that they capitalize on their creativity. And one of the things that Shaggy actually said is that this conference is really being put on to help the Jamaican music and entertainment industry. Yet, days before the start of the conference, he was overseas, he says, and when he contacted his partners here, they said that the registrations were coming in from London, from the United States of America, from the Caribbean, from Japan, and the lowest numbers of registrants were actually from here in Jamaica. And that is quite disheartening. And we just want to put it out there that if you're a manager, if you're an artist, if you're in the music game, if you're a musician, these conferences are very, very important. It's not a whole lot of money, but it's a good investment. Today they continue. Most of the sessions are being held at the Courtly Auditorium. And let's take a quick look at Thursday's itinerary. They have at 11:30 this morning the DSP strategy, and panelists will include Diego Herrera of Pandora, Tanya Lawson of Audiomac, and Tuma Basa of YouTube. They have a session beginning at 1 o'clock, Mastering Media, and Shawnee B from BBC One Extra, Papa Keith of Power, Curran Ballers of HJTV, and guess who I ran into? Specs the Boss out of Flow 98.7. Yeah, he's here, and he'll be one of the panelists as well this afternoon. They also have another very interesting topic, pros and cons of owning your master. That's a very, very important topic being discussed between 3 and 4:30 this afternoon at the Courtly Auditorium. They have Adam Gross of Ineffable, Sterling Sims of Columbia Records, Johnny Wonder, who I saw in the lobby as well. Big up Johnny from 21 Digital, and from Surf Dog they have Scott Sign. Those are some of the topics. Another that I want to mention quickly: mental health and nutrition for artists and musicians comes up at 4:30 to 5 o'clock this afternoon at the Courtly Auditorium, and it's an interactive session with Dr. Shane Jackson. So if you've not yet registered, we're just encouraging you, if you're in the business, in the game, and you want to learn more, and that will help you to propel your own careers, then you really want to be checking out this conference. All right? That's it for
Update.
It's now time for us to get inside of a series of features, starting off with the Proverb of the Day. And here's today's proverb.
Every day a fishing day, but I know every day fi catch fish. Every day a fishing day, but I know every day fi catch fish.
That's true. I don't even know the meaning, but that's true. Rovia, make up your face. Every day on a fishing day, but on every day a fishing day, but on every day fi catch fish. Why? All right. The meaning: Reward does not always follow labor. I agree, Bridge Nation. Some day you can work hard, and you just have to just know that every day you get a reward at the end night. You just gotta keep going, and one day you'll get the reward. One day you'll catch that swim around. You see me?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that it would have been more appropriate if they had rephrased the terminology.
Yeah, what was I say? Yeah.
So in Jamaican parlance, maybe a revised proverb of this nature would read, every day I swim around day, but I know every day
we can swim around. That is it.
Okay, let me regain my composure. It's now time for the pet peeve of the morning. And today we remind you that pet peeves are things that people do that you may find annoying, irritating, or even upsetting.
Yes, right.
Here now is today's pet peeve.
All right, Bridge Nation, we got a pet peeve from a member of the Bridge Nation. They sent in, Camille is her name, and she's from New York. So she sent it via WhatsApp in a text message, and she said, my pet peeve is people who always believe the world revolves around them only. Like, for a moment, could you just think about someone other than yourself? I understand, Camille. Selfishness. I see you, Camille. Hey, but there's always something of what cause that's still in a Camille. You have to check that person, their background, because if the people in that person, their life, make them believe that the world revolves around them, you can't really blame them for walking like that and talking like that. You see me? So
I've heard a psychologist who actually put it another way, saying that sometimes it's issues to do with lack of self-esteem or stuff like that.
I agree.
And it plays out in those kinds of ways. So don't be too bothered by it if you can.
Yeah. If it's someone you have to interact with daily, I can understand the frustration, definitely. But
let's go on that. That's not true.
Yeah.
All right, that is a pet peeve of Camille.
Camille from New York.
Right now it's time for us to get inside of our first interview segment. And of course, we do have, I think we have one of the guests that we mentioned with us. And that is the Teacher of the Year.
Yeah.
A teacher of the Morant Bay Primary School, recently awarded Teacher of the Year. And this gentleman that we're highlighting this morning is the current Lasco Teacher of the Year. His name is Mr. Jody Brown. You heard? And he recently caught that honor. He's described as a modern-day Joseph, who has risen above the negative proclamations over his life and contributed to the holistic development of children in the education sector. He has more than a decade of experience and has accomplished several feats with the help of God, the Lord God Almighty.
Of course.
Some of these include pioneering an annual parent evening of sports. He has been involved in training children in 4-H who are now parish and national champions, and he's been a mentor in the National Mentorship Program of the Heart NSTA Trust. Currently employed, as we mentioned, to the Morant Bay Primary School. He is the team leader for Grade 5 and has consistently been recognized as Team Member of the Year since 2018. We say good morning, congratulations, and welcome, Mr. Jody Brown. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me this morning.
Our pleasure, Mr. Brown.
Very, very proud achievement to add to a list of earlier achievements now that you are the Lasco Teacher of the Year. It must come with a very good feeling, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does come with a very, very good feeling, but yet still a feeling of humility to know that I am considered to be a teacher of good standing.
Is this something that you set out to achieve, or it just happened based on the work that you're putting into your profession?
Well, honestly, I wanted it when I just started teaching, but then I don't know what happened. So now that it has come to me, I think my work is really showing that I am a good teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give thanks, man.
Now, for you to be named Teacher of the Year out of thousands of teachers, Jody, we don't see it as a small achievement. We think it's huge, and we want to really heartily congratulate you. You must be doing something very, very good. What are some of the things What are some of the things that you'd say that you've done that came to the attention of your peers and the organizers of the Teacher of the Year competition that would have made you emerge as the eventual winner?
Honestly, I am thinking that based on the fact that I would have done something and everything that I did, I tried to keep it under the quiet because it wasn't really for the likes or anything like that. It was just for the love and for the children and for the school community and for the parish at large.
Yes.
And so I am still trying to figure out, though, even though they had my resume and they said that it was good and we had to do the interview and all of those things, I am still trying to figure out what is it. I know they said that I have passion and the drive and all of those things. I am still. I know it had to be God, though.
Yeah.
I know it had to be God. One of the things I can think about, though, is the fact that during COVID, I would have gone into several communities and taught children who were not online. And what was good about it was the fact that we had children from all grades and even from the basic school coming. But we did not put it on social media. We did not put it out there because, like I said, it wasn't for that. It was just to ensure that the children did not miss out on one entire term of not being in school. And I think that was one of the things that cemented the fact that I really cared about the children and they thought it was good.
I would imagine, and this is just me imagining now, that also the results that you get in terms of the students passing their examinations and so on, that must be something that would be taken into consideration. And would you say that your results actually bear out your passion?
Well, I am going to tell you, I was teaching at grade 3. One of the things I think, though, I don't really think it's the grades of the children because I ended up teaching several grades. I started at grade 3 and I got a set of children who were like non-readers. Let me share a story quickly.
Yeah, man.
When I went into the class the first day, I'm a trained omic teacher.
Okay.
But I teach at a primary school. And when I went into the classroom of these grade 3 children, I asked a little girl to, just go to the board and touch the letter A for me. And she touched M, and she was very happy. and I said to myself, no, Mr. Brown, you have your work cut out for you. And so I did a lot of research. I ensured that these children had fun in class to the point where they did well in their grade 3 diagnostic test. And the principal at the time said that she wanted me to go with them to grade 4 because of what transpired. And then I was asked to go to grade 6. And yes, I got very good results at grade 6. And then they asked me to go to grade 5 so that we can, help to set the foundation. So by the time they reach grade 6, it wouldn't be so much of a struggle for the other teachers. And I think from there, the work and the teamwork that I have been displaying with the grade 5 teachers, it has spoken a lot. And the fact that I do a lot of community work and I do it for the children and I incorporate also, men and women out there. And movement, I've gotten support to get them to be entrepreneurs and all of those things. So all of these things, I think, would have contributed to the fact that I am really doing this for the benefit of the country.
Nice. Now, Mr. Brown, as we all know, it hasn't been the easiest of times, especially in recent times for teachers island-wide. How were you able to navigate, through the various challenges, being an educator in this time?
All right. So being an educator this time, the first thing we always do is to ensure that when I step in my class, the first thing I do is pray and ask God for guidance for that particular day. And despite the challenges, I look at what can happen to the children down the road in a few years. So I have seen children that I have taught become police and some have become soldiers, and they come back to me and say, sir, if it wasn't for you, I would not be here. Don't leave the system yet. And, I have gotten approaches from schools abroad. And I was actually thinking of leaving.
Wow.
Yes. And there are some other stories that I can't get into right here.
Yeah, man.
But God saw that they needed me. The system still needed males like me. And I stayed. And God rewarded me. He rewarded me to say, Jody, I am going to give you what you deserve because you have done the work.
Very well said, Mr. Brown. And we can say we hope that you stay motivated, because it's one. I like the fact that you say, yo, you don't do it for the likes, it's for the children and the benefit of our nation. But teachers got to eat, you know what I mean? Teachers have to put food on the table. So we just really hope that you can continue to stay motivated, because especially with this Teacher of the Year award, I'm pretty sure those offers will still be coming your way.
Definitely.
So just stay strong, please. Yeah, what, you were saying something? Oh, Mr. Brown, just want to know, do you have any parting words, especially for your fellow teachers island-wide and students as well? The call dropped.
Seems like we lost Mr. Brown, but we want to congratulate him. Yeah, man. Well done. That's a big award.
Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, man. Big ups to all the teachers out there, and congratulations again to Mr. Jody Brown, the Lasco Teacher of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to the London GAD right now, GAD?
London good?
I don't know. London really good, as a matter of fact. He has been called by many names, but I've never heard him being called London GAD.
London Done.
I don't know.
I'm still working with Don.
The London Done.
Yeah.
We'll keep it London Don.
Yeah.
The London Done.
I'm really not comfortable referring to artists as, although they say GAD Robo.
Yeah, we know.
Most of them spell it GAD, but I really am uncomfortable every time. It slips out of my mouth.
I don't do it.
I used to think, you're a bit impertinent calling yourself a god, but you have to look at the whole meaning of gods. We many moons ago, before me and you were born, Richie, they'd say gods of the earth, people that did phenomenal things. Thousands of years ago, they were referred to as gods, and even now, some communities still refer to human beings as gods. So it's I suppose it's a choice of your beliefs, I suppose. But no God for me. No God for me. I'll just work with the Don. But big up all the gods in the music business. Right, Shells? The gods.
G-O-D. Get that?
Gods.
That is it.
Gods. Don't want to sound too blasphemous here. Good morning, though, gents. How are the team? Richie.
Yes, sir.
Before you even tell me, it's Steer.
Yeah.
That competition was ridiculously
easy.
Too hard. No.
Did you say hard?
Too hard.
No, the only question that I thought might have been proving a little difficult was the one about UB40 and After Tonight.
But even that, I'm sorry. Who was the gentleman that won the $2,000 credit? I think
Melvin.
You should say Melvin, carry my 1,000, because you are technically, Richie, he is wrong.
Oh.
The band that sung After Tonight is a famous British band prior to UB40 called Matumbi. But technically, he's right, because UB40 covered it also. But the original makers of it was a black British band in the 70s called Matumbis.
Right. Is it fair to say, though, that UB40 made a hit out of it?
Oh, UB40 made many hits. Labor of Love is hits of all the classic dons of reggae who never could aspire to have hits on British radio or in the British charts, but UB40 done it. So Matumbi, likewise, was one of those groups that...
So guess what? Guess what, Robo? Technically,
here we go.
The question should really have stated which famous UK reggae band sang the song After Tonight. Would that make a difference?
No, because listen, I'm never here to beat UB40. They're a brilliant band. They were actually a reggae band.
Yeah.
They started in Birmingham as a reggae band. They are a reggae band, but they, once you start crossing over in international markets, they just drop that reggae title like they do with our artists. They don't call Sean Paul or Shaggy dancehall. They just say, yeah, Jamaican artists, but they drop the titles. But yeah, UB40 was a reggae band, but Matumbi, there's many people right now ruining in London right now listening going, what's he talking about? It's Matumbi. So never do yourself a favor, just carry 1,000. No, actually, me take 850. 850 worth of credit is enough.
His name is Melvin. I'm sure he's having a good laugh. All right.
Big up Melvin, you win.
But I thank you for the additional bits of information there, because we live and we learn as we go along.
Yeah. It is all good.
And you're a positor of information that we can use. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Now, last night I went over and hung out with Shaggy and a few hundred people at the Jamaica Pegasus hotel.
I think we saw you on a few cameras.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I was incognito.
It was on social media.
Okay,
yes.
then.
Yeah, they did say the dignitaries of the music industry, and you was there.
Yeah, but I said politics. I said businesses, well, business persons as well. I'm not too sure if I qualify in all of those areas.
Check social media. If they haven't hashtag you, you're definitely being tagged.
Yeah. Did they catch what was in my plate as I was eating at the chairman's dinner? Because then they would have seen all the fish and the chicken and the vegetables that I had.
No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, but in all seriousness, it was a really good turnout, and the chairman of the Island Music Conference gave a really inspiring speech. Right. That went down very, very well. Greetings were brought by the Minister of Culture, Babsy Grange, and the Minister of Tourism from Sierra Leone. Oh. She also brought greetings. Dr. Pratt is her name. Some of the sponsors from Supreme Ventures and so on, they also made presentations at the podium. But all in all, it was a good thing. And one of the things that was a little disappointing is, and Shaggy's disappointed too. He mentioned that up to a week before the conference started, Robo, most of the registrants were from overseas, from London, from the United States of America, from Africa, from Japan, and this conference is really trying to allow our Jamaican music practitioners to learn more about the business of music. Yeah. And the least amount of registrants were coming out of Jamaica. It's the same problem we're having with the Grammys. They're not registering. Yeah. When the Grammy gets it wrong, they complain. Here you have a conference that's looking at all aspects of the music industry.
In Jamaica.
Marketing, how to handle media, everything, publishing and copyright and all of these kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And yet still, if I were an artist and my manager didn't tell me about this conference, didn't invite me, fire him.
Lego the manager.
And if the manager is not making any effort to go as well to learn more so that he can direct my future,
fire himself.
Fire him.
Fire himself.
Look upon him and say, you're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You turn the firing God.
Yeah.
Firing people.
I'll accept that for once. Only for this morning, though.
But do you think the information may have been
it is all
posted
over.
Out late? No, but I mean, well, I know but I mean, maybe the information may.
And it's not a whole lot of money to invest in registration. It's all over the media.
But I remember I think it was last week on the bridge, we had somebody representing the Island Music Conference. Maybe get the word out a lot more sooner, or should I say earlier, with these things, and the uptake may have an effect on the uptake. I'd
say to that, it's not too late, because today is only the second day and it goes until Sunday. Today they have a number of very, very important topics being discussed. I'm going over there, and I'd love to see more of our Jamaican artists and music practitioners and participants over there as well. Not just the music loving. I mean, people from YouTube are there. They're talking about. Shaggy mentioned that he just learned about YouTube Shorts from the YouTube people, and how you can monetize that. Shells was giving a deeper explanation.
Yeah, it's essentially TikTok and IG Reels. That whole concept just on YouTube.
So how you can monetize all of this? People from YouTube, met about big wigs in a brethren. People from record labels, international record labels, persons from the Grammy, organizers are going to be there.
Yeah.
And it's really some important things for persons who want to make it big in the industry should learn. So we're encouraging persons to register and go on over and learn, because you're never too old to learn.
But it is early days, as we say. I mean, I know this music industry has been going on since like the 50s, 60s, 70s. And we're still learning. And other genres of music, even here in the UK, are learning as well. The UK music, drill, the grime, the garage sound, all those sounds, drum and bass, they have the same issues as well. They still learn. But, I would say a word for the wise is to get that information out sooner, because there's so much interruptions and distractions when it comes to music. The latest record from this artist and that, and all those information gets put out there more than the basic standard information. Like, hey, there's a seminar and it's well worth your time attending. So that would be my advice to the organizers.
When you play some music and we come back, I'm going to mention two things. One about Shaggy and one about Joseph Bogdanovich. Stick around, all right? That's after you play some music.
Richie B was there and the cameras was all over him. Yes, Richard. I just dropped that one because you were seen, bro.
Let me tell you what.
I saw you.
I'm salivating now that you mentioned food and the memories of last night. And interestingly enough, when I got to the buffet line, it was
hang on. Slow down.
Yes.
Slow down. Buffet line.
Yes. And they announced that
they should be serving you, Richie.
Nah, it was a buffet line, and it went down very, very well. As a matter of fact, when I got there,
you're very modest this morning.
I mentioned some of the things that was in my plate. I didn't tell you about the cream of gungu peas soup.
What?
Yeah, man.
UK peeps, so you hear what this guy's doing to us
started.
at 6 minutes past 1.
Yeah, so so because I had a little bowl in a saucer with my cream of gungu peas soup,
right,
and then I would have had the bigger plate with for the other stuff.
Right.
I had to get some help, and I turned to the executive chef, and he recognized me. He says, "Hey, Richie, what can I put in your plate?" I said, "Give me 2 of those." I thought they were rolls. He says, "No, that's potato, son." Yeah, but it really was a good vibe. And talking about last night, Robo, Shaggy. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what's going to be happening. Things like the Super Bowl and lots of names are being bandied about as to whether or not Rihanna is going to be involving any Jamaican in the halftime show.
Performance, yeah.
So
sorry, I'm late on this. Is Rihanna scheduled to perform at Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing the Apple 10-minute halftime show.
Yeah, very easy.
And it is being touted that she might include some other Caribbean people. Now,
sorry, guys. I remember I'm EPL. I'm Prem. Don't worry. All right, carry on. You were saying.
I'm Prem.
So Prem, you're Prem.
Oh, sure.
Now you need to do SB Super Bowl. Yes. So Rihanna is doing the 10-minute halftime show. And some information is kind of leaking out that she might include some other Caribbean stars. So lots of names are being bandied about. The first person that actually greeted me was Howard McIntosh, Big Mac, and then Shaggy came over, and Shaggy is always jiving me about my attire. So I'm start make one piece of excitement about this shirt on my over, like a $30 shirt. I saw Shaggy go on all the while, and we took some photographs, and then by the time he got to the stage, he says, "Give me a week, and I'll make a major announcement." Now, I'm starting to wonder. But that's all I'm doing. Just wondering.
Speculation, yeah.
Sorry, when is the Super Bowl date for people like me who's out of reference?
It's in February.
In that funny shape,
early
oblong ball they throw around the park. What is the date of the Super Bowl?
It's early February. In fact, it's going to be on the 12th. 12th of February, yeah.
It's next week, right? Shall we just have a bit of fun here, just for a second?
Yeah.
All right.
Who do you think, round the table, Rihanna would invite to perform with her from the Jamaican music culture at the Super Bowl? Starting with the fence man himself, Odds.
Oddly?
It would be either Sean or or Shaggy or and both.
You can see wap 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 wap. For instance, Skilly. You can't see that.
Has she got a song with Shaggy?
She doesn't, but she has a song with Sean.
Okay. Next.
Okay, but
all right.
But you never can tell.
Odds.
Yeah.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Thank you, sir.
You're thinking.
Shelly Shell. Shelly Shell.
She has a good vibe with Beanie Man. Beanie Man also got his visa recently.
Yeah, that was a person I was going to call.
Hey boy.
Nah, I mean, as much as I would love to see Skilly on that platform, I'm gonna go either with Shaggy or Coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Two. Everybody's gone two names so far.
Yeah.
Shaggy's included in. Richard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of those names are qualifiers, if you ask me. I know that she has a very good vibe with Beanie Man as well, and he got his visa back recently. It could be any one or a combination of some of these names. I'd just love to see one Jamaican there alongside.
But we want the name though, Richie.
Yeah,
this is not the Grammy, so you don't have to wait.
I did say Beanie Man, and it could be any of the others that are female. One is a group, and another is a male Jamaican dancehall, reggae, cultural, Rastafarian artist.
Okay.
So they're already well underway in terms of putting their package together. That's all I can say at this point in time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I can say at this point in time. I want to
all
take.
you care to tell us at this point. You need to say.
All right, it's that time of the morning, being a Thursday. You know, at this time, we're into a sponsored segment for the next 15 or so minutes, all courtesy of the Office of the Public Defender. And it's a feature we call Constitutionally Speaking. This morning, of course, it's our first look at the Road Traffic Act. And in this discussion this morning, you'll find it quite interesting, I can tell you. We'll be covering section part 3 of the Act, which deals with things like classification, fitness and registration of motor vehicles, and so on. And our usual guest is back with us, armed with all the information that you need about the Road Traffic Act. We have with us the Deputy Public Defender, Mr. Herbert McKenzie.
Morning,
Good morning, Mr. Mack.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you very much.
What we propose is a series of these discussions on the new Road Traffic Act. You know, partially in light to educate ourselves and to educate our listeners as to what this new law brings into our lives. And like I said last week, the law is not so new. What it does mainly is introduces a few new offences, and most importantly, it increased in no insignificant way the penalties that can be incurred for breaches of the Road Traffic Act. So this week, we're going to be dealing with Part 3, as you say in your classification, fitness, registration, and similar matters.
Yes.
But before I go, though, let me explain what this Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 means. When you have legislation, these are acts of parliament, which are voluminous, as this one is. The act is divided into sections, major subheads. We call those parts. So like I said, Part 3, from time to time, for the purpose of those who are not inclined or trained in law, I'll refer to it, or the person refer to it as Section 3. It's really Part 3, because each part is further subdivided, as in all the act, little paragraphs, which law is called sections. Sections themselves are subdivided into subsections, and subsections are subdivided into paragraphs. And now, insofar as the Act is concerned, the paragraphs under this part that we call section, they are referred to as section in the Act itself. But the regulations, the long one, carrying the penalties and all that, which was passed in 2022, the little paragraphs, which are equivalent to section in the Act, are not referred to as section, but they're referred to as regulation. So when somebody says regulation 3, they're talking about the regulation. Or if you say section 3, you're talking about the Act. This new Road Traffic Act, like I said, it's fairly voluminous, although it's not the biggest one we have in this country, but it has 13 parts.
Wow.
Not all the parts are along. In fact, there's one part that really has only one section on it, and the section refers to other things. So even though we're trying to dedicate one program to each part, sometimes a part, based upon the length, might spill over into another part or another program. And by the same token, sometimes we might use that program to do more than one part of the act. So let's get going now with part 3.
Okay.
Classification, fitness, and registration. By the way, people might wonder, why not we start with part 1 and part 2? Part 1 and part 2 are formalities. It introduces a preliminary part, that's part 1, give you what abbreviations mean and what certain terms mean. Part 2 deals with the Island Traffic Authority, talks about the how the Island Traffic Authority is constituted and how they are supposed to run their own affairs. So we're not going to delve into that until we come to the end of the program.
Okay.
We're going to deal with the parts that are most important to us as citizens. Part 3.
Yes.
Now, what part 3 does, essentially, at the start, it creates 6 categories of motor vehicles. Even though we had them prior to the coming into force of this act, they were not so categorized. And let me go slowly through each category, because each category can tend to have a little technicality in it. The first category is what they refer to as tractors. These are motor vehicles not constructed to carry loads other than the fuel they carry, the water they carry, and any other equipment used for the purpose of propelling the vehicle itself. An example of that would be, the farm tractor we used growing up with the 2 big back wheels and the 2 front wheels.
Yes.
Backhoe and front-end loader, bulldozer, those sort of things are really tractors in the classification for this act. Then the second classification is what we call motor trucks. These are motor vehicles that are not classified as cars or motorcycles, which I'll touch on later, and which are constructed for the purpose of carrying a load or passengers or both. Example, the big truck or the big lorry, as we know, the big super truck and those other things. The big long passenger buses like JUTC, or even little tour buses that, these small routes use, the little, what do you call it, Nissan Urban, or the pickups that we have, that we drive around. The Toyota IS, the Toyota this, the Toyota this, the Nissan, and that's all sort of vehicles. Those are called pickup trucks.
Yeah. The Frontier, yes.
That's right, Nissan Frontier. The third one is motor cars now. Motor cars are the cars as we know it today, your 4-wheel vehicle, sedan, hatchback. Under the law, they are defined as vehicles which are not classified as trucks, which we just described, or motorcycles, which I'll describe later. And they are constructed primarily for the carriage of persons. Or they are adapted to carry no more than 7 passengers exclusive of the driver. So, for example, there's a little Noah with probably a 3rd or 4th row seat in it. If you reconfigure that to ensure that they only carry like 1 seat, yourself, your passenger at the front, and people at the back, you would be regarded as a motor car with a classification of this type. An example of motor car is what you and I drive as we know it, or private vehicle that we use in everyday commute. The 4th category now is what we call private motor vehicles. By its very definition, they are also motor vehicles, but they are private. And it applies to whether or not the vehicle is classified as a truck, as we describe it, or as a car, as I described earlier. As long as it's not a commercial motor vehicle and it's constructed for the carriage of persons and their personal effects and used exclusively for personal purposes. So no, with the car, you and I and the man like Shell Drive are really private motor vehicles sold privately. The pickup, which categorized as a truck earlier in the description, that can now be regarded as a private motor vehicle if, for example, you use it for your own personal use, personal benefit, and no commercial activity at all. Okay. The 5th category now is motorcycles. Any vehicle that has less than 4 wheels. So, for example, the 3-wheel thing that is some of these rich kids ride around in Upper St. Andrew make a lot of noise. And they rear the one two back wheel.
Spider.
And we don't have to play. That's right. Those are bikes. I call them bikes. And of course, how regular bike, the Yamaha are, all those bikes are motorcycles within the meaning of that. And further down, as we get down in the series, sometime in the coming weeks, we'll talk something about motorcycles and the whole business of riding on one wheel. Now, the sixth category is trailer. Trailers are unpowered motor vehicles which are pulled or towed by motor vehicles. So your 30-foot or 40-foot container sits down on that base with the wheels, but can only move if you attach a trailer head to it. Is really a trailer. A little thing that you attach behind a vehicle, you know, they're using cane feet to carry cane sweeps a cane. I think from my part, they call it cane butter or some such thing. They have no power to propel themselves. They have to be moved by something attached to it. Those are regarded as trailers. Note, however, that, you know, sometimes we see these big vehicles going around with a crane built onto it. So when you have vehicles that run off the roads and run into ravines, they use the trailers, these cranes to pull them out. Once that apparatus or appliance is attached permanently to the vehicle, then that appliance is not regarded as a load and wouldn't change the classification, but it would be deemed to be a part of the vehicle itself. So whatever classification that vehicle had come under, it remains so. It doesn't change by dint of the fact that that piece of apparatus or appliance is attached to it. And while we're on that, you know, it's not common in Jamaica, even though I've seen it in my lifetime. Some bikes that have like a sidecar attached to it. It uses them prevalent in Europe during World War II. They carry on German officers. So it makes it 3 wheels effective because the sidecar has a wheel onto it. No, that sidecar, once it's attached to the motorcycle, is regarded as part of the motorcycle itself, and that vehicle remains a motorcycle. Because remember, the definition of motorcycle was that it has fewer than 4 wheels. So those are some classifications to look at. Now, I see time coming up on this, but I'm going to go fitness, registration, and license. You cannot drive a vehicle on a road, or you cannot cause the vehicle to drive on a road. And when I say cannot cause, because they don't meet the requirement on both road lines, you give it to Shells to drive because you and Shells will be jointly liable. If the following conditions are not met, the motor vehicle does not have a valid certificate of fitness, the motor vehicle is not registered, the motor vehicle is not doesn't have a license, and doesn't have an insurance. And I'm making a distinction between the motor vehicle license, which is like a vehicle we put on the front when we pay the money at the tax office, as opposed to the driver's license. That's an entirely different thing, which we deal with in some subsequent program. The driver must also have evidence of the valid certificate of fitness, the vehicle registration, the insurance, and the vehicle license. And he must provide them upon being stopped to the police for inspection. Let me just enter one caveat here, which I see a lot of our police friends do all the time. You can't make that demand to the driver at his window and then walk 100 meters down the road, sit on your bike and sit in your car and expect the driver to bring it come to you. The law does not put the motorist under any such obligation. So the police officers who have that in their mind, and the man waits for a reasonable time and drives off, the man does not disobey command by the police to stop. The common feature across the road, we see it is an unadulterated abuse of power. Boy, give me your papers. Can't come with me. And you walk out and you walk on into a bed. It doesn't work that way. That's not the law.
Okay.
Police officers do it, some of them. It's unlawful and it's disrespectful. Pick one, certificate of fitness. The person must apply to the Island Traffic Authority, pay the amount, and the Island Traffic Authority, if he satisfies all the requirements of the vehicle, issue the certificate of fitness. The load, noise, the muffler, blow, the tire, wear out, that sort of thing. If all those things are absent, the vehicle meets requirement, the Island Traffic Authority shall issue the certificate of fitness or can refuse it. But if the Island Traffic Authority refuses to issue it, then they must give the applicant the reasons for so refusing, and those reasons must be in writing. Might be a one sentence, might be a stop, but it can't be by word of mouth. And the authority itself can revoke the certificate of fitness after issuing it if it finds that there is a defect of the vehicle or the vehicle is not being kept up the standard required. In other words, you stopped on the road some 6 months after and you find that the wheels are as bald as your hand middle, or you find that you have no lights and none other things, then that certificate of fitness is revoked. The revocation of that certificate of fitness effectively revokes the motor vehicle license itself. And that motor vehicle license only kicks back to life. If it still has the life in it, you can register for license for 6 months or a year, only if the certificate of fitness is being resurrected. In other words, the motor's car, the flaw goes back and you get the certificate of fitness restored. Then and only then the life itself comes back in. I think that's pretty much it. Next week, I'm going to continue on this very same subject, and I'm going to move into the motor vehicle license, the motor vehicle registration, and the penalties for not having those on your vehicle when stopped by the police. Okay. And remember also, if the driver is working for you as the owner, the vehicle is registered in your name, the liability is joint and several. The police is going to charge the driver, But if the driver disappears for some reason, the police can look toward you, the owner of the motor vehicle.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Until next week.
Thank you so much. We listened, and we learned so much, and this is a very timely intervention.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Mr. McKenzie, for the information you shared, and we looking forward to next week again. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, that was Constitutionally Speaking. It happens every Thursday morning from 9:15 until 9:30, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Office of the Public Defender. Our usual guest was, of course, the Deputy Public Defender, Mr. Herbert McKenzie.